The role of men in the modern world. Let's talk about No Country for Old Men. Hi, my name's Drew and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. Now this is actually the second time I have watched No Country for Old Men, prior to making this review. I watched it like 2 years or so ago and I was like, everyone's really mad about this film, I don't get why. And so I was like, I need to watch it again, right? And I also watched some videos that sort of explain a bit about it to get stuck more into it, because I do appreciate it now and realise that the first time round I probably wasn't just paying enough attention to the film, which does happen sometimes. So if you're in a similar situation, that's definitely a recommendation I can make. You know, if you're like, I really want to get this film, or I do want to watch it again, I do want to know why people are so, hyped about it, maybe just have another go. Like I say, look online to see what people find in it, and that sometimes, I'm not saying that's always the case, sometimes you just don't like a film, right? And that's fine. But in this case, like, I found appreciation for it, right? More. Things like the acting, etc. I was aware of before, but I'm like, okay, what is this story actually about, It seems very easy from the get-go. It's like No Country for Old Men. The story is focused on men, and you've even got one character constantly examining morals and modern times, etc. So, it's quite easy, but if you really want to get stuck into it, at least for me, it's not that obvious, right? So I like to do that. Look online, look at people who are a lot more intelligent than me and, see what they say about it, and then, oh yeah, okay, and then my mind could start wandering as well. Anyway, what is this film about? It's made by the Coen brothers. They've made various popular things in the past. Most prominently, probably Fargo. So very, very popular guys. And this is based on a book, actually. It's a book by Cormac McCarthy, who is an author that I'm gradually getting more interested in because there are a lot of things on my radar that are of his. One of them now is No Country for Old Men. Another one is The Road, which is a book, and it was also turned into film with Viggo Mortensen. That's been on my radar even before I knew who Cormac McCarthy was, or that The Road was based on a book. So that's another thing. And I've heard a lot of things about Blood Meridian, which seems to be quite the epic. Called An Unfilmable Book, which seems to be really interesting when it comes to examining morals and man's role in life and society and these kind of things. So this is based on one of his books as well. I haven't read the book. Like I say, I'm now really interested in reading his books, but I can't comment on how accurate it is or, what the differences are between the book and the film. If you're interested in that, you'll have to look elsewhere, I'm sorry. But what is this about? It's actually rather simple. We're focused on 3 men. Here in this story, one of them is played by Josh Brolin. His name in the film is Llewellyn. He stumbles upon a drug deal gone badly and he gets a suitcase of $2 million, which he grabs for himself because he wants to make a break. He wants to have his big break in life. He's the one guy. The other guy, there are 2 others. One other guy is played by Javier Bardem. His name in the film is Anton Chigurh. He is a contract killer, although you could easily describe him as a serial killer. He is working for for the people involved in this deal that went wrong, and he's going after the money, just to put it very simply, right? So he is hunting the money and Llewellyn, right? Third person we've got is played by Tommy Lee Jones. He is Sheriff Ed Tom Bell, who is where, this is happening. That's where he's the sheriff, and he gets wind of this, obviously, and he's sort of basically on the case, but at the same time having difficulty as a sort of, just before retirement sheriff, to figure out what his role is in the world, generally speaking, and what he should be doing, right? So those are the 3 people you've got involved, and that is the basic gist of the story. So we've got Llewellyn, who's trying to get away, right, with the money, who's being hunted by this basically serial killer, because a lot of people focus on Javier Bardem's portrayal here, quite rightly so, because Anton Chigurh is a terrifying character. And then you've got the sheriff who's sort of investigating. Maybe I'll stick on him for a second. I found his character the funniest because he is a sheriff and you're like, right, I need to get things done. I need to investigate this. I need to solve this crime, save this person, blah, 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 blah. But he's very nonchalant about the whole thing, while his deputy is telling him information, he's sitting there reading the paper, and it's very weird. He's so laid back. I'm assuming, this is my own interpretation, he's just so world weary at this point. He's like, the younger generations, what are they getting? How are they behaving? They even talk about the hair at one point, you know, people getting green hair. This is set in the, is it 80s, I think, 70s or 80s, right? Yeah, so it's some things you hear nowadays as well, but he's basically that character, so I found that quite funny because it's like, you know, get up and do something, man. You know, it doesn't matter how old you are or whether, how much out of touch you feel, you can still get things done. Anyway, yeah, Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh. This guy is a psychopath. He's just very focused on his job. We see him, spoilers I suppose, but he's a killer, right? We just see him just killing a big amount of people in just the most cold ways possible. Just to give you an example, he runs around with an oxygen tank. It's got pressurized air in it, and that's what he used to not only kill people directly, but it's actually quite a useful tool apparently to to open doors and other things, right? Yeah. So it's a bit of a cat and mouse game. That is definitely the main focus of the game. Like I say, he's really an intelligent, really ruthless, psychopathic serial killer. Just watching him, there's one scene in particular which many people will definitely point to. It's in a gas station, and he's just having an exchange with the clerk there. You know, they're just talking back and forth, and you can see how the guy who owns the gas station is just getting more and more sort of terrified of the guy in front of him. You know, he's asking all these questions, he's saying these weird things, he's just looking at him, staring at him with this really intense look. And yeah, it's a really tense scene. It's incredible just watching Javier Bardem. I mean, I've loved him in Dune, in both Dune films, and this, you know, just made me even more happy to watch him on screen, because he is really an amazing actor. So just for him alone, you have to watch him. But Josh Brolin as well, you know, he's this guy, he thinks he's figured out the whole world, he's got a plan for everything, he can solve everything. He's not scared of this guy that's on his trail, you know, because he can beat him, he can take care of him on all these things. And it's sort of, in between all of this, we're examining morals, and it's about fate, if you want to delve deeper into it, you know. And if you're expecting, it's made a bit like one of these westerns, right? It feels a lot like a western, but it's not one of these go happy westerns where the good guy, the hero, wins at the end. I mean, I'm not saying that's not what happens, I'm not saying it doesn't win, I'm saying it doesn't go as smoothly as you would expect it to in a very classic western or so, right? So it feels like a very realistic story. One interesting fact is you don't have a lot of music in this, so you have a lot of scenes playing out and there's silence in the background. It does almost feel sort of documentary-esque. It's like we're really looking over the shoulder of these guys, because again, there's no music, there's no big dramatization about things. It's just like, as if you're popping into the lives of these guys and you're watching them just do their things that their characters do in this story. And yeah, like I said, there's no big drama, there's no big action, everything's very gritty when there's gunfights, etc. There's no cool slow motion going on and these kind of things. It's over in a second, you know, because that is very realistic. So yeah, it's very nitty gritty. So if you like that kind of thing, like I say, cat and mouse game between a psychopath and your hero, who are both very skilled, you know, good at what they do, and that is also a very interesting aspect of it. But if you're also thinking about, again, I mean, that is what the story is also about, you know, our place in society. What do we do? What is our fate? What are we supposed to do? Loads of things. There's so many channels online that can explain in such depth about this story, and it's really cool. I don't want to take away from them, so if you want to know about that, just go online, you'll find enough places. I would encourage you to do so, because if you watch this film afterwards, it really puts it in a new perspective. I really enjoy this film for that, you know, like I say, the very intense portrayals, except, I mean, Tommy Lee Jones, don't get me wrong, he does it well, but it's just his character is so laid back and nonchalant about what's going on in his little corner of the earth. It's really funny. Anyway, it's a very high recommendation for me, just for the portrayals alone, but all the pieces, when they fit together, it makes this thing feel like really, it's just, yeah, like I say, you're witnessing an actual thing that could happen in real life, and real life isn't always lovely and beautiful and heroic, etc. So yeah, there you go. So, that'll be all from me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It is the best way to support this channel. Leave a comment down below about No Country for Old Men, or if you're a Cormac McCarthy fan, you know, anything you want to see about his books. Yeah, any of that you want to say, put it down in the comments below. I'll thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one on Flying Wiener. Take care, bye.